Hello, you. Welcome to Geekism and welcome back to Planquatica. We're going to get started on some slides in just 1 minute, but before we do, I wanted to show you Crow's Nest gift shop. We made this during a live stream. This was Tuesday's live stream this week, and people often asked for a little overview of what it was, and so here it is. You can download this from the Frontier Workshop. The link is on the screen, or the number is on the screen even. There will be a link in the description as well. Lots of fun building this in the market area at the entrance to the theme park. Wanted to sort of permanent looking but still relatively small gift shop. Really wanted to use the tiki rounded roof here, and then we came up with the idea of sticking a crow's nest on top. The theming is all over the place in this place now. It's a tiki slash ruins slash pirate slash all sorts, and we're actually doing a bit of a ruins build today. But before we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. I just couldn't get this conveyor belt thing to work. It's way too over the top. It's too large. Multiple angles. It's just not really doing it for me. So I'm going to get rid of it. But instead of just getting rid of it and carrying on with where we left off, I wanted the slide here to be a lot longer. Having looked at a few of these online, the one we built was actually pretty short, and the scale of a lot of the rides in this water park are pretty small, to be honest with you. It's mostly because I don't really know how water slides work. You'll see here, just trying to make this a little longer was almost impossible. It just lost all of its speed, and really it needs to start higher or end lower, and I wasn't going to change either of those things, so we had to kind of work with what we got. You'll see here it just keeps sort of dying there. And the way you can get it getting a little bit of momentum is just giving a little bit of a harsher slope there, and then it kind of keeps up a bit of momentum as it goes into the next area, and eventually we get it to somewhere that I'm happier with, and I end up losing, like I say, the conveyor belt thing just because it just wasn't really doing it for me. And then also that straight bit that was clear, again, not really doing it for me. These things they don't really have straight bits, honestly. They're just, everyone I've looked at, they're just big windy slides down. So I went back in the end and played around with it, and just because I've got it to a point where I'm happy with it. The conveyor belt is a really nice idea, but at this point I really do want to try and get this park sort of finished up by the end of the year, because Meanderville is going to be beginning in January, maybe even December. I might even get episode 1 out in December. I've been enjoying my time working in that off camera, and again, excited to show you some of that. Meanderville being my sort of high budget theme park that I'm planning to do for Planet Coaster 2. I'm trying not to make a big deal out of it, but I'm hyped. I'm really excited to show you folks as well. It's going to be very different to Pinewood Hills, very different to anything I've really done before. Really sort of leaning into high theming, but also trying to keep the realism in mind. We're doing high theming here in this water park, but realism is very loosely implied, because I just don't really know how water parks properly run. But none of these slides have got water returns or anything like that. We're just kind of making it work and having fun with it. Here then, before we start on the big project today, I wanted to sort of cap off a few of these brown triangles now. We've got the dirt going down, and they just sort of need filling in with some foliage. And yeah, it's simple as that, really. We're just trying to copy and paste a lot of the foliage we're using through the park to give the park a bit of a palette of foliage that we're using throughout, and I think that works out pretty well. Alright, here we go. We're starting off with the main area then. We had a bridge over here already, and I actually thought it might be quite a nice idea to try and keep some of the height there. So we're actually building this area that we're doing today on a raised platform with some height in it. So the way we're going to have it work is here then, this area is going to be raised up, and then the area that I've just built those little steps down to is going to be lower. Both of them are going to have a pool, and we're going to have a waterfall that links the two pools together. One of the pools is just going to be a swimming pool, just to have a swim in, is what I mean there. And then the other pool, this one we're doing here, is actually going to be the exit pool to a series of slides. I want to thank you all for the last episode. For the feedback I got on the last episode. Many people were really happy with the Wonk and Brokey. I think it turned out really well, but I did kind of spend the episode having a bit of a bitch how I was getting a little burnt out, and I don't necessarily think it's burnout. I'm very much enjoying the game. My God, you want to see what I've been doing in Meanderville? Oh, you might have seen it actually. I've shared some images on the community tab and on Blue Sky as well, so you can have a bit of an idea of what I'm playing around with there. But and that might not necessarily yet even still be Meanderville, by the way. It's kind of a sort of palette for what might become, I guess. I don't know. Either way, I'm very much enjoying the game. I just didn't really know where to go next in this water park. So thank you to all the suggestions in the last episode. Quite a few of them suggested a really tall, just straight down drop slide. We are going to do that. I do know where that's going to go. And then the other big selection was just some tube slides, a tube slide selection. So here they are. Annoyingly didn't film the building of them. Very frustrated by that, because I'm actually quite happy with how they've turned out, and I'm quite happy with the process I used to get them all sort of lined up. You'll see that the 4 of them are lined up along the top there on the platform, of course, but then the 4 of them all exit perfectly in a line on the pool as well. That was a tip. I really can't remember where I got it from now. I'm so sorry. It wasn't from a video, I don't think. I think it was somebody in the Bro Nation Discord, and they said that what you do is you build your platform where you want, and then you build your slides going down from that platform, just a straight slide straight down into the water, and then you could copy and paste those or recreate them and build them twice very easily to get the ends of them all line up perfectly. Then you can basically go in and delete the middle of the slides, keeping both the start and end point, and then add in the curves or what have you, and it works out really well, and it means you get all nice lined up straight slides, which is something we didn't have with the 3 body slides that we built. The what do we call them? The racers, Ridge Racers, and Ridge Runner. They don't line up perfectly. They're good enough for now. I'm not going to go back and redo them. I'm happy with how they've turned out. But and again, they run through rock work, and it'd be a nightmare trying to rebuild them and getting them just right. So happy enough with them. But moving forward, I think that's a really great tip: is build the start and ends of your rides very simply, and then remove the middle, and then go in and actually add the middle, because then it also, you know where you're going to start, you know when you're going to end up, and then you know what kind of momentum you're working with as you move through. All right, what we're building here then is a little sort of tube return. The game crashed there. Luckily, I'd lost nothing. But as soon as I came back into the game, I saw these archways that I built, and I was like, oh, yeah, they're gross. So they go away, and instead we use this ruin arch. And this building is meant to look a little bit like a ruin as well. It is loosely based off a building at Siam Park in Tenerife, which is a really beautifully, highly themed water park in one of the Canary Islands, the Spanish islands there. And yeah, it's loosely based off a building there. And it has this nice sort of tower on it that we're going to build in a moment. And yeah, this was another couple of comments suggested that, yes, we started off in Planquatica with a kind of just sort of generic tiki theme, but really, a lot of water parks, it's very rare that they really stick to that throughout. And honestly, we've already sort of verged away from that in some areas. We have Ray Bay that has a little bit of a ruins theme to it. And then we've also gone for a lot of sort of aquatic pipes in some areas as well. Hekawi Stream kind of has a bit of a sort of more of a leaky pipe area, as does the other kids area as well. So yeah, the point is that, it doesn't all just have to be tiki, it doesn't all have to just be buildings with thatched roofs. Obviously that is going to be a running theme throughout the park, but you can also try other themes that still use the same sort of natural materials. And really, that's what the theme of this park really is, when it comes down to it, is a lot of natural materials highlighted with man-made or man-constructed material. If you think about it, it's a lot of stone and wood with lots of then plastics and metals hanged over the top. And I think as long as you keep that in mind as you're building, you can build other styles, other themes that still kind of work within the theme of the whole park. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We have a little bit of a sort of Spanish style ruin build here that I think actually works out quite well. And whilst it's very subtle, I do spend a bit of time using the decals on this to sort of mash up the plaster there, because it's pretty good, the plaster. It has quite a nice texture on it, but it is a little too clean, perhaps. It is a little too good for this kind of build. So we do spend a little bit of time with the decals and making sure that it looks a little bit rough and ready. Here is a really nice little Viking stone piece that ends up becoming a really great piece to generate this window. We had this window in Planet Coaster 1, basically. There was a pirate window that I loved. The thing I liked about this build was really trying to get a bit of depth to it, not just sticking a window on top of the wood. I really wanted to kind of create a bit of depth. I end up covering it up with wood because, this is loosely based on Siam Park's one, and this is how the windows look in there. But I just love that real subtle depth that you have here so that this doesn't look like it's just stuck on top of the wall here. It really does look like it's sunken in. It does look like it's a proper structure here. We sort of accentuate that by sinking them in. And yeah, really happy with how it turns out. The top of the building has this beautiful stone trim, and it's almost identical to this stone in the game, so that worked out perfectly. We had to take a little moment to rip all of this stuff off the grid because it just Z-fights if you don't. So it was worth the time. I had to go in there with some plaster underneath just for the people who are looking up. They'll see a gap. We don't want them seeing a gap. And then I'm just looking for a little bit of wood trim. I end up just using one of my favorite pieces, these poles with rope on. I think it works really well. I think in the actual build it's more of a sort of cornice piece, but we haven't got that many of those really, and I know there are some temple pieces that you can use, but the fact of using that wooden pole there with the rope on it just helps tie it into the rest of the park. You know, it's that sort of that material again, that wood and rope and stone materials coming throughout the place, and all sort of, you know, working together to have a sort of copacetic design throughout the place. And yeah, really happy with how it turns out. Here we go then, adding some of these awesome brick pieces in, these decals. These confuse me, like some are painted, some aren't, some have got corners, some haven't. Yeah, it's tricky to figure out which ones we really want to use, but I settled in the end for some of the painted brick ones, and then just I think they're not called grunge, they're called something, what is it, damage. There you go, damage. They're really nice. They make these beautiful cracks. We do add a bit of the grunge, but I end up not liking it and taking it off again. But yeah, I think the brickwork coming through and the cracks, that one there really looks like the corner is cracked away. It's so clever how they do it, because that is a perfect point of the corner there, and somehow that decal really makes it look like there is a chunk missing out of it. It's really clever. I think it uses like what do they call it, like bump maps, you know, so the lighting sits on it as if it's not there. Real clever stuff. Give me 1,000 of them, Frontier. I'll love you forever. I mean, I already do love you forever, let's be honest. Yeah, using some ruined pieces here. Would love a little bit of variation in these. There's only really 2 or 3 that you can actually use here. It does look a little samey. And I do at some point need to go back into here and add a little bit more to it. It did get to the point where I was like, no, do you know what? We've got enough for a video here. I'd like people to take a look at this and honestly offer some suggestions as where to go next with them. I try and look at putting some fabric in there, some canopy in there. It'd be really nice if we could either just like turn these fences off or at least recolor them. I feel like the stairs recoloring wasn't working and now is, so that's a step in the right direction. But really, this fence around the top here needs to be recolorable, honestly. What would be amazing is if we could you know, just treat it as a fence as in the path fences are, so we can either have it turned off or we can have it as one of the 4 or 5 fences that are in the game for paths. That'd be perfect, honestly. I think for the most part I would just turn it off and build my own, but it would just be nice sometimes. You know, I've been using the wooden fence quite a bit through this build. It's sometimes just convenient to be able to turn that on and say, yep, it's done, but it's themed enough. We also need to have another little look at this as well, where I've tried to make it look like the slide is breaking through the ruins. Not really happy with it. Again, we're a little bit limited on ruined pieces. Need to go through and have a good look at some of the stone pieces and see what we can rectify. But as it stands, I think this build actually turns out pretty well. It's not fully in situ right now. Like it's obviously where it's going to go, but it needs a little bit of work around it to really sort of set it down into place. We obviously spend a little bit of time here doing some foliage on the front side of it, but all around the back I just scenery brushed the whole thing for the thumbnail, honestly. I need to go back. You'll see there is a bit of a plaza area there. I just sort of opened it up there. I felt like that would make the most sense for it to be a little bit open there, not just a path to the to the ride entrance. But I don't know what to put there. It doesn't feel like food and drink would go back there. It feels very much off the beaten path. The only reason you should be going down there probably is to ride the rides. So I don't really know what to put down there other than maybe bathrooms. That would probably make sense. So maybe we'll put a bathroom block down there. I'm thinking of wanting advice on that, but as I said, bathrooms, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. We'll probably put some bathrooms down there. Paths are a little bit funky here. I guess one of them was just very slightly on a slope. So I spend a little bit of time cleaning that up. I feel like I'm really starting to figure out the path now. It's incredible. I know a lot of people kind of struggle with it because it is a lot to take in. But I think once you spend a bit of time with it and really figure out how it works, figure out what a node is, figure out how the game is using that node and how it treats that node and how other nodes work alongside it, and how the game connects them together for the most part, you can do some really incredible stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no Taggy. If you're not already, you need to go and follow Taggy3D. He's done some incredible stuff with paths. I have watched his episode where he makes the little single pixel of path to make people not walk through it. I think I've watched that about 4 times now, and I just don't get it. It doesn't happen very often. I'm not boasting here. It doesn't happen very often where I'm just completely flummoxed by something. I know I'm relatively good at picking up stuff. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. I learn by playing. I learn by trying. But my God, I just cannot get that thing to work for the life of me. I don't know if my game is just a little bit different, or if more than likely it's just my brain just farts. But what he's done is amazing. I can't do it. Saying that, though, I do feel like I'm really starting to get rid of grips with the paths now, and for the most part I'm able to do what I want them to do here. It's tricky to get stairs. It feels like it was much easier in the first game to get stairs. Maybe you need to look at using classic paths to really get the stairs how you want to, but it's still, I quite like how we've got this area here with just like 8 or 9 stairs and then a little plaza, 8 or 9 stairs and then a little plaza. I think like that's actually quite realistic if you're going to have steps in a theme park, which of course you can. They need to be pretty short runs of steps and with breaks in between, and of course you need another option as well. So we do have the softer slope there on the other side that's going to take people down. All right then, so we build this second pool that is going to be just a regular swimming pool, make it looking a little bit more natural. I know there's been a bit of a little thing this week where everyone's built natural pools, like actually made them look really natural, putting the regular water, I guess, over the top of the pool water and completely boxing them in with stones. I think it looks great, and I think in another project it would work really well. I just don't see it happening here. Oh, do you know what? Now I'm second guessing myself, because there was a snorkeling pool at Typhoon Lagoon years ago where you could snorkel with some like basking sharks or whatever. I don't know, little sharks, a couple of little rays, and that will have been much more natural looking. So maybe there is precedent. Oh, I might go back and make this a natural pool then, because I do really love it. I think it looks amazing. I think the first person I saw do it was a zoo player. I think their name is ZSH Plays. I've definitely watched their stuff. Let me see. I'm just going to quickly Google it. This is terrible. Look at me not doing. That's all good videos here. Yeah, it was. It was called Lake Liberty from ZSH Plays, ZSH Plays, and it's beautiful. It was the first time I saw it. It was their first video with the game, actually. It was really great. A beautiful, natural-looking pool. And then Estan has kind of refined it a little bit, using the natural water over the top a lot more and stuff, and that looks really good. Then I've seen a few other people do it as well. I can't remember his name. I only caught the end of his stream on Twitch the other day, and he's building a Lord of the Rings sort of Hobbit-style park, and had done it there as well. It looks great. So maybe I'll go back and do it here. Maybe it won't be a completely natural pool. We'll probably still have the beach up to it like we have here. But, so it'll be a fake-made pool, a man-made, natural-looking pool. I might go back and do that. I think that would look pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, but there it is. It's just going to be a swimming pool, maybe like an adults-only kind of pool. I don't know, really. I did put a diving board in it, just one of the small, low-to-the-ground ones, and there is a lifeguard right next to it. I'm not a huge fan of the diving boards and steps in the ladders up and out of the pools. I've talked about this a lot. I don't think they're very realistic, but the idea of just having one somewhere and it'd be like, you really want to dive? Okay, here's the one place in the park you can dive. People in the pool know that you're diving. People will move out the way. There is a lifeguard there. I don't know, maybe they even do like little diving classes or something. You can come and have a little 20-minute one-on-one session to learn how to dive. I'm not sure. Here then we're just again filling in more brown triangles on the back of the Wonk and Brokey. These other 2 brown triangles most likely will get filled in a live stream. We love filling our brown triangles in on live streams. That is nowhere near as rude as it sounds, honestly. Here then I just kind of threw a bit of netting together. It kind of felt right. There's the building there, and obviously you could cover it with loads of foliage. But I thought, no, do you know what? Let's just kind of put a little bit of theme in in there. Maybe I'll come and add some rings onto this or something, but as it stands, I actually just quite like that as a little bit of theming that just breaks that wall up. And then the last thing we're going to do is obviously this these tubes need tubes. These flumes need tubes to ride, so we're going to place them all over the place because they would be everywhere. And here is that that sort of real makeshift. Some poor kid on a gap year is going to be sort of filling that thing up all day, just moving these around, just carrying them from the pool round to the back there because people don't use them properly. Yeah, so still needing ideas for that plaza. I do think a bathroom block is probably going to be the way we go. Not necessarily a changing room block, but a bathroom first aid, that kind of thing maybe. But if you can think of anything else, let me know in the comments. I will always take feedback. Honestly, one of the main reasons I even make YouTube videos is for the incredible feedback I get in the comments. So please shout out, let me know what you think of this. Let me know, again, more ideas for the rest of the park, what we want to do with that back area, just anything. Just chat to me in the comments. It's my favorite thing about making these videos. There you go, then a couple of glamour shots to finish off with. A beautiful set of 4 slides. We need some signage for this as well, so perhaps if you can think of a name for these slides, that would be pretty cool as well. And again, throw them all down in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already, all that YouTube goodness. Love you all to bits. Until the next one, be good.